Welcome back to another Careful Boys, where we are very careful boys. Today, okay, so this question actually came to me and Nikki's podcast, Shit They Don't Tell You, a while ago. Like, I want to say like a year and a half ago. But it's something that I think about quite often because it came from one of our listeners was, I believe it was female to male trans, and they were asking me, they're like, hey, Steve, so like, I'm transitioning right now, and I wanted to, like, I'm younger, so I just wanted to have some thoughts. Like, you're one of the only people that I listen to, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, but
it's a lot of pressure.
They're like, no, I'm curious about, like, for you, what it means to be a man. Like, so as I, like, make this transition, it's something that I've already felt like I am already, but I'm also getting older, and I want to know what you've, like, for you, what it is to be a man. And I'm like, damn. That's the fucking deepest question I think I've ever been asked.
Who's the most masculine person in this room?
Well, what did you say to this person, first off?
I went like this, and then I said, I'm fucked.
And did you ask if that's on Patreon?
No, I mean, honestly, I just said, to me, being a man was always about, like, from growing up, same shit, looking at examples, like watching my dad, watching my grandfather. It's like when somebody says they're going to do something, you fucking do it. And I don't know if that's, I'm not saying that's exclusive to men or whatever. It's just, to me, that was always like big for like watching, like, especially when, maybe it's a stupid man thing that we do, but there is something that we do where we like emboss the font while we say something. And it's like, hey, when you say you're going to fucking do something, you do it. That's what it's.
That sounds very embossed, yeah.
And you don't have to. By the way, you don't have to preface it like that. You could just do it. But for some reason, I had it branded.
Yeah, like your word is like your bond type of thing.
Yeah. You got to raise an eyebrow, and you got to give a very stern handshake when you agree on these terms.
But enough about what I think about it. I'm curious about what you guys think.
That's definitely hard if you're not born into a family with a dad that's kind of showing you the ropes. I think that's a lot of...
It usually does come from like father figure types.
That's a lot of the first initial like how to be a man, like literal, where that comes from. But I think every man literally is just a product of their peers and the qualities they like in other people, men or women. So if there's things that you admire about someone else and you want to adopt that, it's genderless, really. I could end up being more, I guess, like feminine to what a man thinks just because there were qualities I liked in feminine men or in, other women. It doesn't really matter.
What do you think society deems what a man is?
You'd have to go to Disney for that.
And depends on like which circle of society you hang out in.
Yeah.
Or which commercial you're watching.
Just a narrative that you've been hearing lately about what a man is from society.
That we're toxic, probably.
The stereotype?
Well, in the 50s, it's like smacking a woman in the face to put her in the place.
Oh, Lord.
Right?
It's kind of rapping, bro. Bars Kwan.
Today is bothering your son all fucking day. Keep texting him.
Does that have a personal connection?
Personal, yeah.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes, huh? That's what it fucking takes, huh?
Bug the shit out of your son all day.
One of the strongest things societally is keep your problems to yourself and just deal with it.
Yeah, figure it out.
Buck up and do the
Tough
thing.
it out.
Yeah, just do the thing.
Which is like the thing that we're not supposed to tell people to do nowadays.
Anymore,
right?
yeah.
So that's ironic.
But it was how I was brought up. So it's like, it's tough. It's not. It's just a reflex. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
It's a reflex. It's weird.
I think I was maybe because I also grew up with a sister. Anytime something needed to be physically done, it was like important for the boy to do it. Literally, my parents would be like, "Boy, hey,"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like whether it's picking some groceries from the car and bringing them in the house. I didn't have the chance to be like, "What about her?" You know what I mean? It's like you're the boy, go.
Like opening up pickle jars.
Exactly, sure. Like whatever it is, if it took some sort of like extra physical thing or whatever.
You don't want the pickle bad enough.
But I also think the extreme.
Why do you buy the pickles? Why?
I really want some.
That's so true. They do shake like that.
And then I'm like, where's a man when I need one?
Dude, why do bitches love pickles so much if they can't even get them themselves?
Right.
The shape.
It's something ingrained in us. Yeah.
But I will say, I think those little things as a kid subconsciously teach you that thing as an adult too. That transcends into places like if there is a tense situation, or like maybe the idea of like an aggressor, and you know, it's like you and your spouse or your family, where it's like as the man also, you got to kind of be the first and last line of defense. You know what I mean? So I feel like that was something that I was ingrained as well. I don't think my dad ever like said verbiage wise like you have to do this, but I think just through like the way that you get brought up, you know that that's your role and responsibility.
It is weird, right? When there's a noise in the night, it's like, that's on me, dude.
Yeah. I'm still scared, but it's my job.
I'm scared shitless. I'm honestly pancaking my pants right now. Like, I just bisquicked my fucking shorts. But what am I gonna do?
Yeah, you gotta go do it.
Being a man doesn't mean you don't get to be afraid. It just means you still gotta go do it. You know what I mean?
Push it down.
Still gotta do it.
Push it down, get the job done, and then that's it.
What up, guys? This episode is brought to you by Audible. I'm a big fan of Audible because I love being efficient with my time. So every single time I'm driving from Vegas back to LA or LA back to Vegas, my go-to thing is pulling up my Audible app. And what's awesome about it is you can even listen to books or podcasts or original shows offline, because you know sometimes when you're traveling you don't always have Wi-Fi. And right now, a book that I really love is called Scar and Stripes by Tim Kennedy, my good friend. And he just documents like his whole upbringing, from him being a kid growing up in like the NorCal area all the way to him going to Afghanistan to help rescue people during the entire like Afghanistan fiasco. It's really cool because not only does he share all these experiences and makes you feel very grateful to be an American, but also one of my favorite things about audiobooks is that a lot of times the author is the one that's narrating it or reading it. So you get way more from the book because you get emotion and a lot of the other things rather than just hearing your own voice. And that's the book that I'm reading right now. And if you guys want any type of audio entertainment, go check out Audible, because that's literally what they're all about. Your one-stop shops, because they got Audible originals, they got podcasts, they have books, obviously. And like I was saying, you can check out one new title every single month, so it'll keep you entertained. So let Audible help you discover new ways to laugh, be inspired, or be entertained. Because new members can try for free for 30 days. Just go to audible.com/offtherecord or just text off the record to 500-500. That's audible.com/offtherecord or text off the record to 500-500 to try Audible for free for 30 days. Audible.com/offtherecord.
What's your take on this? Like to bring you in, and honestly, very curious about what you think of it.
Yeah, like what you think a man is supposed to.
Well, I grew up with a brother and a dad, and I leaned more in that realm. So I would say typically it's to be a provider, a protector, a leader of sorts. I think that's just kind of like the foundation of what people are typically brought up in as what a man should be or wants to be. But I can't speak for men. I'm a woman.
Let's fucking go.
Start clapping.
Let's fucking go.
Very brave.
How do you feel about dudes that talk about their feelings all day?
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna say, how do you feel about dudes that talk about women on behalf of women?
Oh, we do it all the time.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
That's
we
fine.
do applause for that too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. All day?
That's the right answer. All day? Or is it just pockets?
Yikes.
Embossment.
All day.
Perfect embossing.
Just fucking spewing these fucking emotions all day. What do you think
All
about
right.
that?
What do you think about guys who are criers? Is that allowed to you?
I mean, give me the context. What are you crying about?
Dick Vermeil after an Eagles game, and he's like, we just didn't have what it takes out there.
Have you cried on a football game? Like, has a game made you cry?
Honestly, no, but I wish I was that intense. I really do.
Have you ever cried in any football scenario?
Yeah, not even after finishing Remember the Titans?
No, well, sure, watching movies, yeah.
I've cried in like
That'll make me
MMA and
cry.
fight scenarios.
Really?
So
In MMA?
So Anderson Silva, who was like considered widely by a GOAT by many, when he was fighting Izzy, which is an up and coming star at the time, but very similar style, like he's like trendsetting and doing all kinds of crazy shit. When Izzy, and Anderson Silva is his idol, so it's almost like a passing of the torch, like he has to beat him. When he beat him, and when they hugged, And then Izzy was crying because he doesn't want to beat his idol, but he has to beat his idol. When Anderson Silva whispered in his ear, like, "You're the next one," I was like, "Oh, motherfucker."
Did you cry at ADCC a little bit? You said you teared up at ADCC?
I think I did.
Well, what was the moment?
You're kind of a bitch.
I know, man. Oh,
It's
so
a sentimental shit.
ADCC is the Abu Dhabi combat.
all day.
I'm the one that's cried all day.
Cried because of AOC.
ADCC is the Abu Dhabi Combat Champion or Combat Club. It's the Olympics of grappling sports, and it was in Vegas, so I had to go. And there was there's a guy named Cyborg, and he looks like a fucking tank freak of nature, and he just looks like he'll kill people. He's a legend, but he's also like mid-40s, so I think he's like at the end of his career. When he lost in the first round, and then he stood up, like the entire stadium got up, like, because he was just witnessing a legend. Like, but you can tell that the sport has evolved past him. So it's like he was a monster of his day. It's like almost like seeing Mike Tyson getting beat the first time. But everyone was so like gracious to see, like, we've witnessed your career. So the entire stadium like stood up, and everyone gave him a standing ovation, even though he lost. I was like, the respect in here,
That's being a man, dude. That's being a man.
You actually just reminded me. I did cry during a football thing when Peyton Manning got released from the Colts and he gave a speech and he's like, "I will always be a Colt." I was like, "God damn!"
God damn.
It got me good.
God damn.
Yeah.
Do these stories sound weird to you? Are you like, why the fuck are you crying? This is not cry-worthy.
I think to each their own. If it matters to you and it's that emotional, then cry all day about it.
All day.
She's judging you. She's judging you hard.
I also cried during The Blind Side. I was like, "Oh my God, white people were so great."
Great, are we?
Great.
Are we great?
I turned to the guy next to me. "We're great, huh?" Last time you
Nick,
cried,
what does it
Anthony,
mean
why?
To be a man.
Man, I don't.
Oh yeah.
You're asking the wrong dude. But thank you for circling back to me, Kalyne.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just felt like you would have a good answer.
You know, I don't have a really good answer, honestly, because that's such a loaded question.
Is your
In a weird
pops
way?
a beacon of manhood for you, or no?
Man, in a way, yes, but also no. Well, yeah, I'll say yes. But sometimes I battle with it too, because growing up, like, my dad was in my life, but he was always kind of like off to the side, you know? Like, he was always kind of like doing his own thing. So I think I was mostly influenced by my sisters growing up, because I was the youngest and I had two older sisters. They were like 6 and 7 years above me, and my mom. So for me, like, earlier in my life, I felt like I related more with women all the time anyway. It wasn't until I started training and like trying to fight and compete that I was like finding myself in rooms full of men, you know? So, and with all the guys I train with, I did find little aspects like what Ryan talked about, where, oh, I really admire this thing about this guy. I really admire this thing about this dude. And I would take bits and pieces from everybody. And they're all different walks of life, all kinds of guys, different professions. But I would always just kind of be like a sponge and just trying to soak up what these guys had to say about, like, it maybe wasn't directly about like being a man or anything like that, but it was just things that you observe of how their character is, how they treat other people, how they act in the grand scheme of women, children, and everybody else. So I think in a lot of ways I do agree a lot with what Ryan said about how it's like what you admire, what you think is maybe within your moral compass or what is right or wrong, and you kind of just take what you think you admire and then you move on with that. So I think that summed it up the most for me.
To have a strong philosophy, a personal philosophy, a moral code.
Yeah, because then man or woman, like, yeah, there's differences, of course, but I don't think they're that different from each other, right? Like, I think
I still can't open up a pickle jar. So.
I know, and that's a problem, right? That's a problem, and I have a grip strength training program that we'll have, and
Okay,
we
I'll
can
be
make
there.
that. Yeah,
But
we'll
it's
make
only
it
for
work.
men, though.
It's only for men,
Oh,
so
okay,
we'll
so
make some modifications.
But it's at Lionheart Jiu-Jitsu, so like, you know.
Oh, I shouldn't even think about that. No, but yeah, I think it's a combination.
Well, what about chivalry?
I believe in it.
Yeah.
I believe in it too.
I get the door for Nikki, dude. That bitch was fucking screaming.
Fucking bitch.
We'll be somewhere. She's taking my fucking head off about something. I mean, this was years ago. I do have a particular memory of this. She's taking my fucking head off about something, and then like she still like goes to the door, and I still open the door and fucking we'll let her in, and I fucking close the door, you know? Like, cause to me that's just what it's all about. It's about respect. That's what it's about. It's not because girls can't get doors. Yeah. I don't know what that's about with social media these days. But I can get the door. It's like, yeah, we all know you can open a fucking door.
Just say thank you.
Yeah, you don't even have to
Get
say
in a
thank
car.
you. It's like that. You should expect
Get
this.
in the car.
To me, you should expect this. Like it's just
Absolutely.
like it's just a thing. Like it's like, you know, you get the door. Doors are dirty. You're being polite. Like yeah, that's it.
Guys do it for other guys too.
Yeah.
No,
I hold the door open for everybody, and if they don't say thank you, I say fuck.
You close the door and you say walk.
I think.
I just don't do it for handicapped people because I'm like, you shouldn't have even been in here.
Yeah. They take too long to get to the door.
So mean.
Use the button.
I'm sorry. Don't you have your own door? You have your own little door, don't you?